for me, the first thing that I will do is take a deep breath and acknowledge that this is the feeling that I'm feeling. So name it, literally call it out, right? Because as soon as I can name it, then I'm like, oh, okay, I've got some tools here.
Yeah.
And what I want to encourage us not to do is try to find a solution or a fix for it, because that goes against what we need. Yeah. And so once we're aware that this is what we're feeling, we tap into our breath. Really, the next step is allowing that energy to move.
Okay.
Right. And so for me, when I was in the middle of CVS and all of a sudden the big grief bubble comes and I know I need that energy to move, I'm literally like, get out of my way. Like I'm running through the CVS to just get to my car, right? To get to a safe space where I can literally cry.
Yeah.
Just cry and just weep. And, you know, in a lot of grief literature, and I talk about this in the book too, is there's the metaphor of waves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this emotion comes in waves, right? Yep. And so the idea is not to try to hold that wave back, because as strong as you are, you're not stronger than the ocean.
Yes. Really? I'm not?
Listen, it took me a long time to just make peace with that bullshit. I was like, excuse me.
Wait, I like my mom taught me you're a woman, you can do anything you want to do, including take on the ocean.
Take on the ocean and exhaust yourself and burn out your adrenals. Yeah. You know? No, I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you. So going back to those moments, you know, what are the things that you can do to start to allow yourself to move this energy?
Yes.
And when you give yourself that opportunity to actually move it, it's amazing that you start to feel a little bit better. Follow that feeling.
So it could be like physical movement. It could be like, if for those of you who haven't read her book, which I highly recommend, she talks about how she found out that her father was dying and she was in CVS. That was before he died, right? You had just found that out. And then all of a sudden the grief came and you were at the checkout line and you had to get the car as quickly as you can. And I will tell you, I've had moments of grief like that where I've just been messy all over some random person that is probably like, what is your problem today? It makes me realize that we are not comfortable with people, especially strangers, being messy and emotional around us. We don't create a container for sadness very well in our culture, like you stated. Is there a way when you're grieving that we can express to people, especially the people closest to us, what we're going through so that we can either get support or B, they can move away and leave us alone?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So I have a chapter in the book called Awkward Times, Awkward People.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Each and every one of us have been this person, and each and every one of us have probably had these things said to us. And what I want us to do is forgive ourselves and each other.
Yeah.
Because as I said at the top, we are domesticated in a grief-phobic, messy, emotions-averse society. So we don't have these tools. And so when we don't have tools and we're really afraid to screw it up, we can do awkward shit.
Yes.
And
very true.
You know, with that in mind, you know, I talk about some of the things to be mindful about. The first is centering ourselves. So somebody's sharing what's going on with them. They're going through a really tough time. You feel uncomfortable and maybe you can relate. And so you want to bond with that person, make them feel like they're not alone. And so you sort of center yourself and sort of hijack the conversation. You make it all about some loss that you had, right? When the other person could feel that actually doesn't bring us closer together, that makes me feel more lonely and like you don't care about me that very much. And so that's a common thing. And another common thing we do is, look, I do it too. I'm like, I got you, girl. You're not alone. Let me tell you about what happened to me.
Yeah, right.